Good morning and welcome back to Pitt to the Point. I'm Grace Lamberto.
And I'm Michelle Spiller. Join us for another exciting edition of Pitt to the Point, our Emmy Award nominated weekly news and magazine show, broadcasting live from our state-of-the-art Pitt Studios.
Get ready to dive into everything from the University of Pittsburgh to the heart of the city and beyond, covering national and international events, noteworthy individuals, and compelling stories.
We're thrilled to bring back your favorite segments and introduce fresh features, including live reports that shine a spotlight on thriving activities happening across the diverse University of Pittsburgh regional campuses.
Keep an eye out for our newest segment, Crossing Over at Pitt, showcasing the groundbreaking collaborations between different departments and schools, setting new standards for innovative teaching across the nation.
We connect live with our affiliate high schools, offering a glimpse into their vibrant communities and initiatives. And of course, we'll continue to keep you informed about the latest developments in politics, sports, medicine, and entertainment. From Pitt to the Point.
O.J. Simpson passed away of cancer on April 10th. The former NFL star and broadcaster, whose fame was dimmed by his 1995 trial about his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, was well known to the public.
The Simpson family stated that O.J. was surrounded by his children and grandchildren during his passing. During this time of transition, his family asked the public to respect their privacy and grace.
On the afternoon of November 30th, 2021, then 15-year-old Ethan Crumbley entered Oxford High School in Michigan, armed and shot 12 people. This week, we have learned the sentencing of Crumbley's parents, James and Jennifer.
Crumbley's parents have been sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison for involuntarily manslaughter. The gun Crumbley used the day of the shooting was one of his father, James's.
Nicole Beausoleil, the mother of victim Madison Baldwin, was present at the trial, saying to the parents of Crumbley, "The lack of compassion you've shown is outright disgusting. We send our deepest condolences to the families of the victims."
The fourth Tuesday in April is coming up, and in a presidential year that means primary elections. In Pennsylvania, you will only be able to vote for candidates in the same party you have named in your voter registration.
The polls will open at 7 a.m. on the morning of April 23rd and will close at 8 p.m. the same day. If you're planning to vote via mail-in ballot, they will be due the same day at the same time.
With the presidential election approaching, former President Donald Trump is addressing how he plans to handle abortion should he become president.
With more, we turn to our political reporter, Kayla Pattison. Kayla?
Thank you, Grace. Former President Donald Trump has finally made his announcement on his abortion stance this past Monday on April 8th. He has vowed to make this statement for quite some time now, as he claimed it would agree with the general public. Being said, the general public has been in an uproar from what he has said. On Monday, Trump stated his long-awaited abortion announcement. He stated that he will leave the decision of abortion up to each individual state rather than mandating it at a federal level. Speculations of Trump's statement about abortion was to be around a 15 to 16-week cutoff, but on Monday he was vague in making a stance on a week limit for women to receive an abortion. When Trump was president between 2016 and 2020, he appointed 3 Supreme Court justices that gave favor to overturning Roe v. Wade in June of 2022. This prompted several states to change their abortion policies to be more restrictive. CBS News campaign reporter Olivia Rinaldi talks about the responses that Trump has received in reaction to his statement and stance.
And also what I found notable was the backlash that Trump got immediately from this statement from anti-abortion groups. Susan B. Anthony, which is a pro-life group, said that they were disappointed by Trump's position on this. They were one of those groups that had been advocating for him to support perhaps a 15-week federal abortion ban and limits further on the procedure. Also, Senator Lindsey Graham, someone who has proposed a federal ban on abortion previously in Congress, also said that he didn't quite support what Trump said. So that's notable, and some of that backlash will be following pretty closely.
This stance will be determined to be favorable or unfavorable to Trump with upcoming state primaries and ultimately the election in November. Abortion continues to be a polarized point of discussion to the presidential candidates and in debates. It will be determined if Trump's statements will corral the swing states needed for any presidential election. On the topic of swing states, President Joe Biden will be visiting Pittsburgh this upcoming Wednesday on April 17th, as a Pennsylvania primary will be held on April 23rd. For Pitt to the Point political reporter, I'm Kayla Pattison. Michelle, Grace?
Thanks, Kayla. This Monday, we all got to take a look at the solar eclipse. Here in Pittsburgh, we experienced 97% coverage, but up north in Erie, Pennsylvania, they saw a total eclipse.
That's right, Grace. I personally got to experience the eclipse in Cleveland, Ohio, and it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Some of our crew here at Pitt to the Point watched the once-in-a-lifetime event here in Erie.
Yeah, Michelle, some of our crew traveled about 2 hours north to watch the event. Definitely a cool sight to see and a cold one. Even here in Pittsburgh, when the sun was covered up, it got pretty chilly here.
Pitt students and researchers took a trip to Texas to launch a high-altitude weather balloon during the solar eclipse. With more, we go to our business and technology reporter, Isabella Romeo. Isabella?
A dedicated group of undergraduate students from our very own University of Pittsburgh traveled all the way to Texas to experience the eclipse through high-altitude balloons. Situated right on the path of totality, the ambitious group of students camped out for 8 hours and did their own research on the solar event.
The University of Pittsburgh has its own solar eclipse balloon project founded by Dr. Russell Clark, Dr. David Turnshek, and Dr. Sandhya Rao. The Shadow Bandits consist of a variety of undergraduate students at the University of Pittsburgh, from students in the physics department, the astronomy departments, and the Swanson School of Engineering. Having been received funding from NASA ever since the August 21st, 2017 eclipse, the lab Shadow Bandits utilizes high-altitude balloons that can fly almost as up as 100,000 feet in the air in order to observe eclipses from a unique angle. The main priorities of the Shadow Bandits lab has always been recording eclipses in the direction of the sun, along with scanning shadow bands that occur from the atmospheric turbulence during a total solar eclipse. Along with the recent October 2023 solar eclipse, each of the balloons had either a camera or light sensors attached that would always detect shadow bands. As of this previous Monday, April 8th, 2024, the most recent sighting of a total solar eclipse, the Pitt Shadow Bandits headed out to Concan, Texas, which was near the path of the total eclipse. And they spent around almost 8 hours nonstop to launch weather balloons inflated with helium, along with higher and larger altitude balloons that would go as high up into the air as 90,000 feet. Solar eclipse will not arrive until almost 2044. The Pitt Shadow Bandits look forward to completing more balloon test flights down the road.
With 8 whole years of research, their plans to make new discoveries will never be up in the air. From Pitt to the Point, I'm business and tech reporter Isabella Romeo. Grace, Michelle?
Thanks, Bella. The Pitt News keeps us updated on what's going on around campus. This week, we'll take a look at the Medicare event, the installation of Chancellor Gable, and the theater department's production of Spring Awakening. Take a look.
On April 8th, the Mock Trial Club at Pitt partnered with Free the Facts, an organization that educates students on public policy issues. Free the Facts gave a presentation at Nordy's Place that featured keynote speaker Thomas Fodor, a police associate for Free the Facts. The presentation mostly focused on the financial infrastructure of America and issues that the average person faces. Joan Gabel was formally inaugurated as the University of Pittsburgh's 19th Chancellor after being elected back in July 2023. Gabel graduated from Haverford College in 1988 and achieved a Juris Doctor degree from the University of Georgia in 1993. After working at numerous universities, she now solidifies herself as the first female chancellor in Pitt history. Between April 6th and April 14th, Pitt Stages produced the Spring Awakening show at the Charity Randolph Theater. The musical starred students at Pitt like seniors Hayden Bobbin, Gabriella Walco, and first-year Andy Levin. The musical focused on youth relationships and the curiosity that kids have at that age. After a week's worth of outstanding performances, the show has concluded and gained recognition on important subjects like suicide and abortion.
Here at the University of Pittsburgh, students and faculty from different departments collaborate to combine their skills and redefine their industries. This week, we take a look at what's been going on in the Voice for Social Change Research Initiative, the School of Social Work, and the Pitt Law School.
I'm a student researcher as part of the Social Change Research Hub, which is a part of the Fredericks Honors College, but works in conjunction with the School of Social Work with Professor Ronnie Doko and the law school with Dr. Gabby Yearwood. On this project, we are working with the UN and their Permanent Forum on People of African Descent for racial equity resources. And we started in the University of Pittsburgh, detailing the resources we found. Our task on this project was to create a database through research, looking through websites, and collecting the data, and we submitted it using a Qualtrics form that included parts of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, as well as our own racial equity consciousness spheres. My role on this project is at first it was to collect data from around the University of Pittsburgh and then following the greater Pittsburgh area. There are actually a lot of people doing research on this, so it made it easy for us to collect people's research that they were doing and all their projects that helped with racial equity. We are traveling to Geneva, Switzerland in a couple weeks, and there we will be presenting at a conference held by the Permanent Forum. We are also working on writing up a manuscript. What got me into this project was I really liked the idea of doing something that would create meaningful change, and often that comes from more than one discipline.
When we come back, Pitt Athletics is inducting 2 commentators into the Hall of Fame. You'll want to hear about it.
And the Pittsburgh Penguins are working their way to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Stick around for more.
Welcome to the University of Pittsburgh. We're here in the Cathedral of Learning. Imagine being here in the Commons Room or Nationality Room.
What do you think?
So what do you think? Hail to Pitt. Hail to Pitt. Proud member of the ACC. Welcome to the University of Pittsburgh. We're here in the Cathedral of Learning. Imagine being here in the Commons Room or Nationality Room.
What do you think?
So what do you think? Hail to Pitt. Hail to Pitt. Proud member of the ACC.
Time for your next adventure. I have no idea what I'm going to do tomorrow. How exciting.
Welcome back. Looking to dive deeper into the stories that caught your attention today? Then look no further than our website. Visit pittothepoint.com for clips for today's show and in-depth articles covering topics that pique your interest. And stay connected with us on social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, all under the handle Pitt to the Point.
Follow us for behind-the-scenes footage and more from our talented crew. Don't miss out and join the conversation. Stay informed with Pitt to the Point. The Pittsburgh Penguins have had a rough go of the season, but they're now working towards gaining a wild card spot into the Stanley Cup playoffs. We turn to our city sports reporter, Donnie Blackwell, for more. Donnie?
Thank you, Grace. Well, I'm pretty sure last night's game was a relief for most Penguin fans. Coming off a win against the Detroit Red Wings with a 6-5 win in overtime, the Penguins now sit in the second wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference, with an almost comfy seat in the playoffs, being only 3 points behind the Islanders. To speak more about the team's playoff chances, we got a chance to talk to Josh Gitzoff, play-by-play announcer for the Penguins.
You have to create your own success at some point. And I think the Penguins, to their credit, they picked the right time to do that. They're on a 9-game point streak. They're 6-0-3 in their last 9 games.
1-goal game. Score! The Penguins strike first!
They kind of hovered around. Other teams around them have been not consistent, where the Penguins also have been equally as inconsistent. And as a result, they weren't really that far away from the pack ever at any particular point. And they finally picked the right time of the season to turn it on and start to rip off at 1.4 wins in a row. They've beaten some really good teams. Like, they've beaten Carolina, they've beaten the Rangers. The Devils were a team that always gave them a heck of a time, and they beat them. They beat the Tampa Bay Lightning. So they haven't necessarily had a cupcake schedule.
To be honest, I do think it's possible. We have 2 really important games head-to-head with some of the other contenders, the Islanders and the Red Wings. And if they play with the same sense of urgency that they have been playing these last few games, I think they can get the job done.
Across the line with Crosby. Rust holds. Out to Crosby. Score! The top line does it again for Pittsburgh.
Guys in this locker room believe. They believe we have a chance to do something special, get in the playoffs. Hopefully make a run.
They have as good of a chance as anyone. I mean, they have the tiebreaker, which helps. They have more regulation wins than all the teams they're in the mix with. They finished tied. It's not the worst thing in the world because they leapfrog these teams.
These last few weeks, I will say, have been very exciting. They kept me on my toes, especially knowing the circumstances and knowing how tight the race is for that last wild card spot. It's going to be really exciting to watch.
Now, although the Penguins struggle in some areas, such as overtime losses, the team still has some steam. And of course, they have Sid the Kid, who just had 1,000 assists in last night's game. With only 3 games, they must finish strong to remain in the playoff spot for the rest of the season and in the race for another Stanley Cup trophy. For Pitt to the Point, I'm Pitt City sports reporter Donnie Blackwell. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Donnie. Turning over to our Pitt sports, our Panthers track and field team has been performing well recently. Shot put thrower Nora Luongo put on a stellar performance at the South Florida Invitational with a career best throw of 15.68 meters. Nora has been named All-ACC Field Athlete of the Week.
Pitt Athletics is also inducting 2 commentators into their Hall of Fame. Athletic Director Heather Lake gave Bill Hillgrove a call, letting him know that himself and the late Dick Grote will be inducted into the Pitt Athletics Hall of Fame on September 13th, 2024. Hillgrove have worked in broadcasting for over 40 years and recently retired from the Steelers after calling games for them for 20 years.
Dick Grote passed away just last year at the age of 92. Grote is part of the National College Basketball Hall of Fame after an incredible career at Duke, where he also led the Blue Devils in baseball. He went on to play for 4 MLB teams in his 15-year career and is now a part of the Pirates Hall of Fame. He then went on to lead a successful broadcasting career.
Pitt Athletics is proud to honor these 2 Pittsburgh broadcasting legends by inducting them into the Hall of Fame. This past weekend, Pitt Athletics hosted the Panther Choice Awards, an event that celebrates the accomplishments of Pitt student athletes every year. With more, we go to our Pitt sports reporter, Aaron Clark. Aaron?
Thanks, Michelle and Grace. On Sunday, April 7th, Pitt's Department of Athletics hosted the 7th Annual Panther Choice Awards. The awards celebrate student-athlete achievements in academics, athletics, and citizenship from the 2023 to 2024 school year. As the teams wrap up another year full of many moments of success, I got to speak with the student athletes to hear their excitement about the event and many memories from their seasons.
The event began with an hour-and-a-half-long red carpet event where reporters Donnie Blackwell and Aaron Clark had the opportunity to interview some of the attending athletes and ask them about some of their favorite memories from this past year in Pitt athletics.
Can you talk about some of your favorite memories from this year?
My favorite memory was beating Louisville at the Fieldhouse on the Elite Eight, moving to the Final Four.
Taking down my alma mater, Ohio State, when we beat them. That was great. So that was my favorite memory.
Yeah, I would say that, and then whenever we wrestled Cornell, that was a good match too.
Yeah, for swim and dive, I think it was our dual meet against Penn State Notre Dame. It was a very electric meet. Probably one of my most favorite, and definitely will be a fond memory of mine. But the energy we had at that 2-day meet was phenomenal.
Can you describe what the Panther Choice Awards mean to you?
Oh, the Panther Choice Awards. I think what it means to me specifically is just getting to see all of these people doing such great things for their teams and their programs, and just how it's contributing to Pitt as a whole and Pitt athletics and our success, and how it's just always going to continue growing. So yeah,
I just think this is a great event, a lot of recognition for great athletes, great people that get involved in the community, and it's really nice to come together and include everyone.
At the end of the night, the two most prestigious awards were handed out: the Panther Awards and the Blue Gold Awards. The recipients of these awards will have the honor of having their names engraved in Pitt's varsity walk, the path between Heinz Chapel and the Cathedral of Learning, thereby cementing their names in Pitt's illustrious history.
For the Pitt football team, it's an exciting weekend ahead with the 2024 Blue and Gold Spring Football Game. It will be held this Saturday, April 13th at 2 p.m. in Acrisure Stadium. The game is open to fans, so make sure to check it out to catch the first real glimpse of next season's team in action. In other big news from Sunday night, it was announced that 5 student athletes will have their names engraved on Pitt's prestigious varsity walk: Blake Hinson, Cole Matthews, Amanda West, Landy Mertz, and Dylan Reed. They will be known forever as legends in Pitt athletics. For Pitt to the Point, I'm Pitt sports reporter Aaron Clark. Michelle and Grace.
Thanks, Aaron. This past weekend, Pitt's Greek Life had their biggest Greek Week event, the annual Greek Sing. Sororities and fraternities practiced for months to create a dance routine that they perform in front of the entire student body. You know, Grace, I got to perform this weekend.
Who did your sorority perform with?
So my sorority is Delta Phi Epsilon, and we performed with Pi Kappa Phi.
That is so fun. I did get a chance to see it. You did so
Thanks.
great. Also here at Pitt to the Point, we have members of plenty of different sororities here on campus. We want to congratulate the winners, Alpha Epsilon Pi, Sigma Chi, and Beta Theta Pi. When we return, we'll be joined by our affiliate high school, Lancaster Catholic, to hear about their international students. Don't go anywhere.
And we'll be taking a look at an app that's been developed to treat depression. You will want to stick around to see this.
Time for your next adventure. No idea what I'm going to do tomorrow. How exciting.
the University of Pittsburgh. We're here in the Cathedral of Learning, which, if you can imagine being here in this grand historic building.
I'm a time when I strive for the greatness, yeah. You can't stop me now. I just wanna get my family. We running up, we can't lose you. I walk a mile in my shoes, yeah. There's nothing that I can't do, yeah.
What do you think?
Hail to Pitt. Hail to Pitt.
Here, progress is always in progress. Proud member of the ACC.
In a few moments, you are going to participate in our formal convocation ceremony, and it will be the official beginning of your Pitt journey. Academic traditions have a long history, and with this ceremony, you will become part of that history.
Welcome back. Well, Michelle, it's been yet another rainy week here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Grace. Luckily, after today, we'll be seeing a little bit of sun on Saturday. However, we'll be going back to thunderstorms on Sunday.
I guess I'll have to get out of the house tomorrow since I'll be inside Sunday.
Although we hope to see a sunnier weekend with the weather, let's focus in on the rain that we had on Thursday night. Grace, did your phone also blow up with all the flood warning notifications?
Yeah, it sure did. So I hope everyone remained safe with the active flood warnings throughout the evening.
Each week, we are joined by one of our affiliate high schools. This week, Lancaster Catholic will be joining us to tell us all about the opportunity they had to host a few Japanese students at their school. We'll turn to the broadcasting students from Lancaster Catholic to hear. Hi, Autumn and Alicia.
Good morning. I'm Alicia Klingler.
And I'm Autumn Lipson.
We're here at Lancaster Catholic where we're not only learning about ourselves, but also interesting things about the cultures around us as well.
A few weeks ago, our school opened its doors to 36 Japanese students from the University of Tsukuba Junior High School in Tokyo. Students from LCHS brought in and welcomed these students with open arms. Let's take a look at what both groups of students learned from this experience.
After long hours of travel, the 8th and 9th graders from Japan shadowed LCHS students for 4 school days. The warm welcome that we extended was kindly returned by the students of Japan. They showed multiple students new games and crafts during their visit. Many students were appreciative of the friendliness and freedom of American schooling. We hope to see them return for the 2024-25 school year. It was time to say goodbye, but just until we get to say hello again.
I like this school because many students are free.
School have free time, but I think Japanese school is not free time.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Wow, that certainly is a chance of a lifetime for everyone involved. We learned so much about the Japanese culture thanks to these brave students.
It's important that we learn and accept other cultures so we can coexist and grow together. Many students were fortunate enough to make new friends from across the world.
I think we might proudly be welcoming a few new faces into this school year from the Cultural Exchange Program here at Lancaster Catholic.
That's so great, guys.
It's so great that the school gets to do things like this. Has Lancaster Catholic hosted students for an entire school year before, or is it usually just for this amount of time?
We've hosted students this year from Dubai, and we have a couple students from Costa Rica. And last year, we were fortunate enough to welcome students from Spain, and we had an exchange girl from Italy.
That's so cool. Did you guys get to know any of the students during their days at the school?
A lot of us had friends or had actual shadows from the Japanese school, and they also did these little sessions during our free time for like calligraphy and origami and games.
That's awesome. So does Lancaster Catholic have any other exchange or abroad programs?
Most of our exchange programs will go through the Cultural Exchange Program, which will bring students over from all across the globe, and they just get to spend a year here, get to live with families from America, and it just seems like a really great time, and I think a lot of them were really happy with their choice.
That sounds awesome. Has these programs like inspired you guys to go abroad in college possibly?
I think I'd like to go to other countries like Spain and maybe even Japan as well, because seeing the cultures of these other places is just incredibly fun and wonderful.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on Pit to the Point this season, and we will see you next season.
Thank you.
Over at the University of Pittsburgh at Greensburg, Professor Kayla Hofferman was presented with the Early Achievement Award for her college algebra textbook. Our regional campus reporter, Anna Park, has more. Anna?
Thanks, guys. Kayla Heffernan, a mathematics professor at the University at Greensburg, has been awarded the National Award Pogel Early Achievement Award for creation of a college algebra textbook.
From a family where nobody kind of went to college. I went to Cal U, which is now Penn West. I did my master's in 1.5 years and I did my PhD in 3 years. I realized I liked to help people that struggled and didn't understand it the way I did. When my colleague and I dove into it, Pogel was very much only used for science, chemistry, biology, but there were no math materials for algebra. So then it turned into, well, I got to write them. It evolved into an entire textbook. Guided inquiry is more, professor will design an activity that the students have to kind of work through the process of a problem and dissecting it to build the main concept. Find that students, anything that they learned with guided inquiry, they would remember it so much longer. Pogel really puts that emphasis on these process skills. There's students that'll come in to whenever I offer the class using Pogel. I've been horrible at math. I hate math. I don't want to be in this class. And they're the ones that at the end of the semester, and they'll say, I never understood math my whole life, but you making me learn it this way, I finally got it. And it just takes one student to say that to like make it completely worth it, because that's what I want to do. I want to reach the students that have never been successful at it. Building that confidence sometimes is all students need.
You can visit the Pitt Greensburg's website to find out more. From To the Point, I'm regional campus reporter Anna Park. Michelle, Grace?
Thanks so much, Anna. Next, we'll be taking a look at a new app, which is the first of its kind approved by the FDA. The app Rejoin was developed to help treat depression. We'll hear more from our medical reporter, Noah Don. Noah?
Thanks, guys. This past weekend, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved a new app to help treat depression. The app, known as Rejoin, will be a treatment-based program to help treat depression symptom severity. This week, I took a deep dive and learned all about the details of the app. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, recently approved the first app to help treat depression. The app, known as Rejoin, will require a prescription from a doctor in order to be used. Users must be 22 years old or older and have been diagnosed with major depressive disorder in order to qualify for the prescription. Rejoin is an app that uses a treatment program to help in treating depression. The program lasts a total of 6 weeks and is designed to help enhance cognitive control of emotion and focuses on the brain's ability to redirect and alter synaptic connections to reduce the symptoms. This differs from other forms of treatment that focus on the neurochemical imbalances in the brain. Each week of the program is broken up into 6 tasks, 3 being brain exercises and 3 being therapeutic lessons. After your 6-week program ends, you will have access to the therapeutic lessons for an additional 4 weeks before your access comes to a complete end. The FDA completed a study consisting of a 13-week trial of the app with 389 participants aged 22 to 64 before approving the app for public use. They found that users saw a slight improvement in their depression symptom severity. No risks for the app have been found at the time, as the study claimed that due to the small effect the app has on depression, there is little room for any risks. Rejoin is expected to be available this summer to anyone who qualifies and receives prescription for the app. Rejoin will be available this summer to anyone who meets the requirements of being 22 years old or older and gets a prescription from a doctor. For Pitt to the Point, I'm medical reporter Noah Dan. Michelle, Grace?
Thanks, Noah. Each week, we get the chance to speak to a Pitt alumni to hear about what they're up to post-graduation. This week, a graduate of Pitt Pharmacy, Nick Egger, is telling us about a club that he founded. Take a look.
My name is Nick Eggers. I graduated from Pitt last year, 2023, with a doctorate in pharmacy. I was only at Pitt for 6 years. I was part of a direct admit program, so 2 years undergrad, 4 years pharmacy school. I founded the campus role-playing game club, actually. I got it started when I was living in Lothrop Hall. Got really into the idea of making floor events and stuff. And one of the floor events I helped out with was an event to teach people to make D&D characters. For me, I'm really interested in behavioral health, specifically medications that affect behavioral health, so the psychotropic medications. Right now, I'm working as a simulation fellow at the VA, and I think I'm the only one in the United States working with the fellowship program that I'm working with. I help design and run healthcare simulations for professional training at the VA. I get to work a lot outside my field and work with a bunch of different healthcare professions and make really interesting simulations to help train people. There's no one set career for medicine or pharmacy or anything like that. You can even go into the fellowship that I'm doing right now with a nursing degree. Honestly, that might be even better than a pharmacy degree because a lot of the people you would be working with are nurses. They require a lot of training and the practical skills, needed to take care of patients. I'd love in the future to get a job as a clinical pharmacist. I've really gotten into working with pharmacogenomics. It's really cool to be able to help people out through seeing how different genes can affect their responses to medications.
When we come back, Pittsburgh finally has a new baby eagle chick to watch. You won't want to miss it.
And we'll be taking a look to the trip to Phipps Conservatory for the last few weeks to see their spring flower show. Don't go anywhere.
In a few moments, you are going to participate in our formal convocation ceremony, and it will be the official beginning of your Pitt journey. Academic traditions have a long history, and with this ceremony, you will become part of that history.
Time for your next adventure. No idea what I'm going to do tomorrow. How exciting.
Welcome to the University of Pittsburgh. We're here in the Cathedral of Learning, which, if you can imagine being here in this grand historic building.
I'm a time when I strive for the greatness, yeah. You can't stop me now. I just wanna stop my family. We running up, we can't lose you. I walk a mile in my shoes, yeah. There's nothing that I can't do, yeah.
What do you think?
Hail to Pitt. Hail to Pitt.
Here, progress is always in progress. Proud member of the
We are the University of Pittsburgh, forged in a blue-collar city with gold standards, where innovators, researchers, thinkers, and healers are always reaching for new heights. There is no limit to what we can accomplish when we put our minds, our hands, our soul, and spirit toward it. Here, progress is always in progress. Hail to Pitt. Proud partner of the ACC.
And we welcome you back. This past Tuesday, the Audubon Society of Western Pennsylvania officially confirmed that the first bald eagle egg was laid in the Hayes Nest in Pittsburgh. The eagles have been nesting on the Hayes hillside since 2013, and with this new egg, they will be constantly incubating in the nest.
Adult eagles never leave an egg unattended, so they will be taking turns to watch over the nest. There is usually around 4-day span between the egg that is laid and that we should be expecting another egg. You could keep your eye on the egg 24/7 on KDKA's Bald Eagle Cam. The Pittsburgh Cultural Trust is hosting a Three Rivers Arts Festival starting on May 31st. The event offers 10 days of free art and music. With more, we turn to entertainment reporter Jordan Sapp. Jordan?
Thank you, Michelle and Grace. Picture this. For as long as I can remember, every summer my family has gone to the Three Rivers Arts Festival. For many Pittsburgh families, this has been the story, making this pilgrimage an annual tradition.
The Three Rivers Arts Festival started in 1960. I had the privilege of interviewing one of the founders, Bab's widows. She told me the whole story about how her husbands were all involved on like the board of the museum, and one of the other ones was one of the museum directors, and they were sort of like, oh, wives, go do something, do a little festival. And 60 years later, here we are. It has always been very important for the festival to be free and open to the public. They felt like it was really important for it to be at the point, which is where it was for 60 years, and called it the Three Rivers Arts Festival because everybody in the region identifies with that.
I don't know what to expect at Three Rivers Festival, but it sounds like something that the whole city gets involved with. And I think that's really, really super important. As musicians, we're kind of like the spiritual healers in a way. Through all the tough times, we try to provide music that gives people a moment to reconnect with the spirit. I'm a musician who appreciates stories of land and place. And I also love the idea of the connection of waters and where they meet. The waterways were a huge source of, how indigenous people traveled. That's why the water's so important now. It means a lot to me to be invited to a festival that speaks to that.
It is a time where everybody comes together. Coming out of the pandemic, there was a great divide in the community, in the country, really, but not at the Arts Festival.
After the pandemic, one of the things that I learned is our responsibility as human beings to be able to recognize that we are souls trying to offer healing.
I really hope that people get a sense that art is for everyone. I hope it gives people a real sense of the richness of the artist community in Pittsburgh, and then also of around the country and around the globe, and sort of humanizing art and making it real to see these beautiful paintings and then the person who made them.
This year, the Dollar Bake Three Rivers Arts Festival takes place from May 31st to June 9th in the Cultural District downtown. I know my family will be continuing our tradition of going to the festival together. Hopefully you can too, and paint your summer as pretty as a picture. For Pitt to the Point, I'm your entertainment reporter, Jordan Sapp. Back to you, Grace and Michelle.
Thanks, Jordan. Phipps Conservatory here in Oakland has been hosting their spring flower show. I got a chance to go a couple weeks ago, and it was so beautiful. Our city beat reporter, Claire Donnellan, took a look at the show in the last couple of weeks of its showing. Claire?
Thank you, Michelle and Grace. Good morning. Phipps Botanical Gardens has been established for 131 years now, and they are currently wrapping up their spring 2024 flower series called A Closer Look. And we also have some intel and behind-the-scenes peeks at the upcoming summer flower show.
The theme is Take a Closer Look, and it was playing a little bit with scale. So people come to Phipps and we want them to see beauty, but there's this condition or just kind of human nature to have this thing called plant recognition disparity, which is a nice way to say plants are everywhere. We just see them sort of in masses, or we see just green in the park, and we don't usually take the time to appreciate the differences. And so what this show is intended to do is to celebrate and encourage people to look closer. So the kaleidoscope was one way to make it an interesting new way to look at plants. We also have magnifying glasses throughout the show featuring specific plants that have, for whatever reason, really interesting features that you might not notice without little prodding to look a little closer. And for something like the spring show, you have 4 weeks for them to look really good, and that means having thousands and thousands of flowers opening at the same time, or bulbs opening at the same time, which is no easy feat, but the timing and the science and really the art of getting these things to open and make the display spot on whenever you come is really like, just, it fascinates me still. Summer show opens up May the 4th, and the theme for that is Under the Sea. It's striking because so many plants look so similar to aquatic life. So there's topiary walruses, there'll be a giant whale outside, so when you walk down the center path, it'll be like you're walking on water and there's a whale tail on one side and its head coming out, so it's like it's swimming under you. There's a scuba diver that's going to be suspended from the ceiling in the room next to us looking at a bunch of jellyfish made from plant material. There's going to be a giant octopus in Palm Court, which should be very cool. We have a production greenhouse here on site. It's not open to the public. It's like the size of a football field about, and it's a whole bunch of different bays with different conditions. And so, for example, we sometimes have to kind of trick plants into thinking it's a different time of year. Like I said, it's really a science, but it's an artful science for sure.
Don't miss out on the final chance to see the spring flower show that's going to be wrapping up this weekend. And if you want to plan ahead, May 4th is the opening day for the summer flower show, and it's going to be Under the Sea themed. So if you want to catch this underwater masterpiece and see what they've been working hard on, be sure to check it out. And with all these April showers that we've been getting, I'm sure there'll be amazing May flowers at Phipps. For Pitt to the Point, I'm City Beat reporter Claire Donnellen. Back to you, Michelle and Grace.
Thanks, Claire. Each week here on Pitt to the Point, we take a look at one of our clubs here on campus. Pitt's Fiction Book Club is welcome to anyone to come and leave their outside worries behind and to dive into a good book. Check it out.
Bookmarked is Pitt's Fiction Book Club, and the club includes bi-weekly meetings that happen throughout every semester, fall and spring, and we pick subgenres of fiction for each meeting, and the books and the genres are voted on prior to each semester. So fall 24 has already been decided on, and we try to pick different subgenres for each meeting and try not to repeat them, especially during the school year, just so we can branch out more and read different kinds of books. I have always loved to read, and I've fostered friendships because I love to read. And so being able to have a space and a community in college that has allowed me to do that has been extremely, extremely special.
I always look forward, like it's the highlight of my week, the book club meetings. And it's a great way to connect with people, especially like people that have a similar hobby as you, especially since reading is not a group activity, like it's an independent thing. The only way you can connect with others is through a book club or like online platforms. So it just like added so much value into my life through like personal growth, just like improving my mental health. And also just like, it's such an act of self-care to like take time for yourself.
When we come back, seniors at Pitt have been picking up their caps and gowns, gearing up for graduation. And the University store on 5th has everything they need. Don't go anywhere.
And the quad here at Pitt is alive and well with the warmer weather we've been having. Stick around for more.
In a few moments, you are going to participate in our formal convocation ceremony, and it will be the official beginning of your Pitt journey. Academic traditions have a long history, and with this ceremony, you will become part of that history.
They come here forged in the spirit of change, pushing to answer the questions and then questioning the answers, embracing each challenge as fuel for reinventing the world. Because here, leadership, courage, creativity, innovation, and progress are always in progress. The University of Pittsburgh.
We are the University of Pittsburgh, forged in a blue-collar city with gold standards, where innovators, researchers, thinkers, and healers are always reaching for new heights. There is no limit to what we can accomplish when we put our minds, our hands, our soul, and spirit toward it. Here, progress is always in progress. Hail to Pitt, proud partner of the ACC.
Time for your next adventure. No idea what I'm going to do tomorrow. How exciting.
Welcome back. Looking to dive deeper into a story that caught your attention today? Then look no further than our website.
Visit pittothepoint.com for clips from today's show and in-depth articles covering the topics that pique your interest.
And stay connected with us on social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, all under the handle Pitt to the Point.
Follow us for behind-the-scenes footage and more from our talented crew. Don't miss out and join the conversation. Stay informed with Pitt to the Point.
When the sun comes out here at Pitt, the Quad is the place to be. This past Tuesday was a food truck event in front of the William Pitt Union, and our Pitt Beat reporter, Natalie Silverman, got the chance to attend. Natalie?
Thanks, guys. On Tuesday, Pitt hosted its Spring Food Truck Roundup in the Quad. Hosted by the conference services, 15% of all proceeds went to United Way. I stopped by to see what it was all about and grab a bite or two.
We're here today at the 2024 Spring Food Truck Roundup. It's a beautiful day out. Let's see what everyone thinks. So what do you guys have, and give us a rating?
We both have chicken bowls from Mr. Bulgogi, and I would probably give it like maybe a solid 8 or 9 out of 10.
Oh, yeah, it's really good. I really enjoy it. 8 or 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Have to try it. And Maya, why do you think events like this are so important for life on campus?
I think it's really important because it just brings everyone outside and all together at once.
Guys, a celebrity just came to the food trucks. So Seven, I'm wondering, why didn't you get anything today?
It was a little bit too pricey for me, but I'm glad that the school had this opportunity to bring food trucks out, especially on this nice day. And there's a lot of people getting like a lot of stuff, so I'm happy for them though.
I got my food. Thank you, Michael, for holding the mic. So I'm gonna see what it's all about. I got the chicken bowl. They're so good. I've been meal swapping a lot lately, so this is really great. So now we're gonna do something we haven't done yet. Shauna's gonna take the first bite of something.
Yes, this looks amazing. Get a good look at the grease pools on the pepperoni. It reminds me of home, so I just couldn't resist when I saw other people walking around with it. Oh my gosh.
Let's see.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Is it good?
It's really good.
Have you tried it? Oh, here we go.
10 out of 10.
You heard it here first. How is it?
Sorry, yeah. No, it's good. It's good. It's really cheesy, which I like. Do you want a chip?
Sure. Thanks. Cheers. Just a good trip. Who else should I interview? Funny who you run into in the quad. So who am I here today with? Risa.
Michael.
A little Pitt to the Point action. So what brings you guys to the quad today?
There are just so many amazing food trucks, and the food just looks so yummy. I have to try.
Michael?
Yeah, I'm just in between classes. I'm hungry, so I want to try what they have here.
Thanks, guys. It's been a great day here at the food trucks. I got lemonade as the final thing to try. Let's see. It's awesome. Cheers, guys.
Still tastes good. With Pitt to the Point, I'm your Pitt Beat reporter, Natalie Silberman. Grace, Michelle, back to you guys.
With the spring semester quickly coming to a close, finals are approaching, and graduation is sneaking up on our University of Pittsburgh seniors. The University store on 5th is the place to go for all of your graduation needs. This past week, the store hosted Graduation Central.
Graduation Central had caps and gowns and helped students order their class ring. They had many other fun opportunities to enter to win cool prizes. The store also carries extras such as diploma frames and Pitt alumni merch. If you missed it, don't worry, you could still stop by and pick up whatever you need before graduation. Don't forget, Pitt to the Point airs every Friday at 8 a.m. on the University of Pittsburgh website, as well as Pitt to the Point website.
And in case you missed us Friday morning, you can also watch a rerun of the show Saturday morning at 10:30 on CBSN, KDKA's streaming platform. Make sure you tune in.
And don't forget to check us out on social media on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Pitt to the Point.
Well, Michelle, it looks like we're at the end of the show here. These shows just keep flying by, don't they?
They really do. It feels like we've been moving so fast. But don't worry, this isn't goodbye. You'll be seeing us for one more week here on Pitt to the Point.
It looks like we'll have to make sure we get to a performance of Spring Awakening this weekend before the show closes.
I'm super excited to see it. You know, I have some friends in it because I used to be in the musical theater club here at Pitt.
Interesting.
So we'll make sure to stay warm and dry on Sunday with all the rain coming down.
Well, Michelle, it looks like we've covered just about everything this week. From Pitt to the Point, I'm Grace Lamberto.
And I'm Michelle Spiller. Bye. It's true though, I didn't lie.